Hi everyone, this is Kat of Catalyst Holistic Life Coaching, bringing your life in alignment with you. I'm here today to do your reading for this lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. We've all been hearing about it, and it is now here, our eclipse season. And this year is especially potent because we actually have three in a row. So we have this full moon, we have the new moon eclipse in Cancer on the solstice in June, and then we also have another lunar eclipse in Capricorn. So kind of the sense that I'm getting is just listening to all of the astrology and really looking into the charts and delving into it a little bit more deeply. I have been looking into astrology ever since I was 10 years old, and a lot of what I do now is just kind of intuitive reading. There's a lot that I am still learning. There's so many nuances, and especially from these masters who have been doing it for like 30 years and they know what to look for. And a lot of them were able to even just predict like this whole situation was going to happen. And even just outside of predictions, they're able to look at the imagery and see how it exactly correlates to what is going on now. And so there's this huge movement happening in a lot of senses. Like, first we had this pandemic that really kind of started to awaken us into some systems that were not working. And now we have this civil rights movement going on as well, and it's even more of just breaking down these structures of just like we're still kind of holding on to these old ideas. And the reason I talk about this is because Sagittarius, which is where our lunar eclipse is happening, is the forward movement, like the archer, it's expansion, it's higher knowledge. So with lunar eclipses, they really highlight something that needs to really be let go of. So it could be some like hard facing truths, it could be some really potent energy, it could feed more into more of the like fire that is really stoked, and there could just be more uproar. Like it's a lot of just like fiery expansive energy, but it's revealing a lot. This is all happening to really prepare us for moving into this new direction, which was what I saw while meditating with the cards. I didn't get any solid imagery, but what I felt was a kind of heat, like almost a prickling, just like an irritating prickling that was just this heat, kind of like irritation. And then it was almost like colors like moving into this kind of more like pinkish color, and it was more flowing and just relaxed. And so the message I was getting was moving in a new direction. And even more so, like diving deeper into that, I feel like it's a shifting from this kind of like fiery, almost like masculine energy into more of this like receptive feminine energy, which over the next couple weeks leading up to the new moon will probably be this very just like energy. Because as we digress from the light of the moon, we've had this illumination. Now we're like finally releasing it. Now we're trying to get it all out, and we still have a lot of planets in retrograde, and we're gonna have some go direct come towards the new moon, but we will also have some more go retrograde as well. So it's kind of a push-pull effect, which was kind of that duality I was sensing of just like we were going this one direction, but now we're gonna move into something that's a little more calm. And I don't know if I want to use the word calm because I don't want to say for sure like how this is going to turn out, but it's moving into maybe something more nurturing, more compassionate. But we're changing direction. Something is changing its direction. So that could be what comes up in our reading today. So I am using the Muse Tarot for our main message. I like the Muse because it's very feminine, and we just had the Rose of Venus complete its cycle on Wednesday, so I really have been following this rose imagery quite a bit. Then moving into our Moonology, and then we have a Goddess Power Oracle that can help guide us into this energy. So just to speak a little bit onto our full moon eclipse or lunar eclipse, turning the moon red, conclusions are within reach. So this is a big like finality. This is a big just like this thing, whatever it is for each of us, is like this big finally like conclusion, like realization of just how we can finally like cut this tie. Because we also go through a full cycle in just a few matter of minutes. It goes from full to dark back to full again. So we kind of may have some really big emotions, so just be aware of that as well. A lot can happen in that short amount of time. But we also have the full moon in Sagittarius. Look at the bigger picture. Look more at what is really going on. Like, don't be just so hyper focused on this one area, because the two nodes are focused in Gemini and Sagittarius. That's why the eclipses are happening on this axis. But Gemini is all about like picking things apart, being really like, small data, whereas this is asking for like, what is this telling us about the whole picture? How is this saying about everything that is coming into this world? Like, where is this information leading? Where are we missing information? Like, are we actually getting the full story? And so this could be happening personally or on a global level. So we'll see what this reading leads into. This is just a general reading for the collective. It may or may not resonate with you. Take it as you will. This is just an intuitive message from Spirit. It is not biased either way. And so just be open to receiving wherever you're at, taking a moment to sit, take a deep breath, ground yourself, and we'll get into our reading. Okay, so moving into our tarot cards, which is just going to be the kind of overreaching message of this reading. So the first we have, yes, is the 10 of Voices, or the 10 of Swords. This is speaking on victimization. Like, this is the final, sword in the back, which I think is really speaking a lot now. This is this victimization, this just giving up, this surrendering. But we also want to be careful of kind of like laying, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of just surrendering like to the power, like giving up in that victim sense where we just have no more power to gain. Like, this is an end of a cycle. This is the end of a really tough cycle, something that was really heavy, and there was a lot of wrongdoing, there was a lot of backstabbing, but how are you going to get up and make a difference about it? How are you going to make these changes, stand up and grab your voice again, instead of just, just kind of hanging there like, woe is me? Like, this isn't speaking about saying that nothing wrong happened, or that what did happen was not completely just like heartbreaking or traumatizing. But how are we gonna pick up and move forward from this? Because this is done, this is over, this is the final breaking point. We need to get up and continue to be strong. We need to learn from this and not play into the victim. Not play into the victim role. We have more power than we know. Yes, because moving into the sun, power, fire, radiance, enlightenment, because we have this person connecting with that energy, the solar energy. We have this power within us. We are so much more powerful than we realized. And in whether this is personally or just globally, we have been stepped on, we have been, run into the ground. But now it's time to take that power back, take our voices back, and be unafraid to shine that light forward. This is like radiance, radiating outward. We're not containing anymore. We are radiating outward. We are connected to that source. We are connected to our true selves. So we're releasing these old stories. Since this is voices, this can be stories that are keeping us caged, that are keeping us in a belief system that is not true, in a belief system of the victim mentality. And this is not true. We are so much bigger than this. And, speaking on this, civil rights movement, like whether it's delving into that or just a personal story, not necessarily saying that it's all the same story for each of us. It's different for everyone. But we all have had an experience of something that has tried to make us small, tried to keep us down. And now we are standing together in this power. We are realizing our wounding. That's what all of this astrology is really revealing. All of our wounding is coming up, and we're choosing to take our power back. Okay, so the last card we have is the Page of Voices. So pages are kind of like the messengers, or sort of like offerings or youthful like energy of this. So this is like new knowledge. This is also like truth. This is kind of getting that clarity, whether for ourselves personally, discovering our own truth of who we really are. There's these women dancing around, being really unafraid to be seen, that energy, or we are really like seeing the bigger picture. What's really going on in the world, how the world really actually functions. We're reconnecting with who we really are, and we're seeing this truth. There is the message of truth is coming, from all of this information, from all of this experience. The walls, the illusions are crumbling down. We're no longer being held down by these ideas, and I talked about this actually in our weekly guidance reading. The main message was kind of like turning a blind eye, and we're choosing not to do that anymore. We're not going to turn a blind eye. We're not just going to let these injustices happen. We are standing up for the greater good because we are connected to that divine source. We know what is right and what is wrong. We are seeing the injustice. Okay. All right, so that is the overarching message. We'll move into our moon cards. So the first card represents what needs to be forgiven or released. What do we let go of? Okay, so full moon in Cancer, a personal issue reaches resolution. So I think this is saying for what needs to be released needs to be forgiven. And with this same like fullness, like conclusions are in reach. And again, this kind of more concluding like energy, end of a cycle. I think this is saying to let that cycle die, to let that cycle go, and this kind of makes sense too, because we were just in the Capricorn Cancer axis for the last couple years. We're needing to let these things go. We're needing to, take in the resolution, like trust that things are resolving, and we need to finally like move forward. We need to release the past. We need to really just look to the future, which is what Sagittarius is all about, the expansion, looking forward. And we really just have to let this past hurt go. It has taught us a lot. We've learned from it. We, made mistakes. We had injustices done to us. And now we need to think of how to move forward. We really need to let the past go because it is reaching resolution. We are discovering our personal power. This issue is reaching its resolution. We have this clarity of what is needing to be done, and it's time to let it go. Thank it for the lessons that it has taught, but we just need to go in a new direction. That's what I think that imagery is talking about, where it's just like, we can't keep bringing this up. When we find the resolution, let's solve the problem. Let's stop ruminating on it. Let's move forward. Okay. Then moving into our second card represents what this full moon is illuminating for us, what is going to be brought to the forefront. New moon in Virgo, a time to give rather than take. So a time to be understanding, a time to be receptive as well. Giving of your energy. I think this is also saying, in a sense, a time to like give your efforts, to put your efforts in instead of taking. Like maybe in this sense where we felt this injustice, we were on the defense, and so we were just like being really closed up, and we weren't giving of our heart. We weren't understanding. We weren't willing to be open. And now this is saying to give, and that can be in any manners of things. So if we're really being called to actually give our time, to put our nurturing into this, because Virgo is the nurturer. So where can we actually put in our nurturing? Are we needing to, support protesters? Are we needing to support our families more, or our friends in this situation? Are we needing to support those of us who have been directly impacted by this, who are standing up to this situation? And are we needing to give more to them to really get this message finally of, wow, like this is still happening. How can I make a difference? How can I give more? So it doesn't necessarily have to be like money, but giving of your time, giving of your attention, giving of your compassion. So we're actually being called to really actually be a part of this change instead of hiding away from it, instead of protecting and guarding and trying to just take what little bits from it we can, trying to benefit ourselves. But how are we looking at the bigger picture to benefit everyone? Okay. All right, so the last card represents what comes next. So the cardinal moon, be bold and make the first move. So I think that is this shift in direction where Sun is all about boldness. That Sagittarius, like fire energy, is also like really bold, is really unafraid to be out there. Sagittarius is not a cardinal sign. They are more, I think it's a mutable sign, so it's more willing to change and flow. Whereas this is saying like we have to take the lead, we have to go be bold. And I think that's also speaking to this, is like being unafraid to be bold, being unafraid to speak your mind, being unafraid to be seen and stand up for yourself, taking the swords out of the back, taking your sword, your voice back. Take your voice back, because it is needed at this time. and making those moves. So whatever the shift in direction is for you, it can be a variety of things. If this is speaking towards, maybe some of you, this could be speaking towards a personal relationship where someone was really just kind of took over your life, somebody overpowered you, and you've been stuck as almost a victim to this person. You are rediscovering your power, and you are seeing the situation for what it really was, the lesson, whether romantic or maybe just a person in your life that was not good for you. And this issue is reaching resolution. And now is time to be bold and take your power back. Make the first move, not waiting for things to change, but making the change happen. Okay? So as we're releasing this, I believe this is talking more towards like when we do have that new moon shift, and we're going to be bold because that will be in Cancer, and Cancer is that cardinal sign. So as we're starting to work through this regressive energy, then realizing where we need to make the first move, where we need to take action. Now that this is finding resolution, we're releasing it, we're letting it go, and this will be your call to action. So I think just keeping your mind open, still being open to the messages that are coming in, because that's kind of what's going on here, like being open to receiving new information. And then once that's culminated, once you've really like sat with it, then take that action, then take that first move. Okay? So then moving into our goddess energy that can help support us for these next couple weeks, we have Yastra, or new beginnings in alignment. So when these goddess cards are in the reverse, they're called alignment messages. So some of us are really not letting the past go. Some of us are not allowing a new cycle to begin. We are just kind of floating here, allowing ourselves to be stuck in this situation. And it's you're not allowing it to find its resolution because it's kind of repeating itself. You're not letting this cycle start over. You are kind of holding on to these old stories instead of seeing, not to say that it wasn't a painful experience, you can accept that, but there's something bigger and brighter coming forward because there is this new beginning on the horizon. The cycle continues. This too shall pass. So everything that just seems dark and dreary, it doesn't last unless you perpetuate it. There's always opportunity for new growth and new change, especially when you finally find that clarity. And spring, like new beginnings, that is that clarity. That is that new beginning. So finding your power again, reconnecting to who you really are, and finding your voice. Yeah, I'm hearing that a lot. Finding your voice. Some of you may have been really cut down, like your voice didn't matter. And so you became really small, and you were really shut in. So this giving, I think, is really speaking towards your voice as well. For some of you, really speaking your truth, giving your words of love, giving your unique voice. Okay? All right. New beginnings are coming. Big shifts are coming. We just have to work through what we're dealing with now. We have to see the truth and the light in everything, because we can't find the light without the darkness. It's very yin and yang right now. It's very just like dark, 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 but there is always light to come. Sun. And even just moving through this light and dark very quickly on this day, we could really have that realization as well. Okay? So, a little bit longer moon reading today. I'm kind of getting a feeling to read a little bit about the Astra as well, this alignment message, because I feel like there's more to say here. So let me just pull that up real quick. Sorry, I thought I was going to end, but I got an intuition to read this, so we're going to go with it. Okay, so the alignment message: look to the potential hidden in promising connections and opportunities. The difficulty arises when you think you already know how something will go. You might do something prematurely or miss an amazing experience that's right in front of you because you're looking in another direction. The real lesson is not in whether something works out, but in how you manage your curiosity so you can experience something new. Life is for learning, and right now your alignment task is to be with what is, which is perfect as it is. Look at the lessons in your life and how they are repeating. You will find that when you come to understand them, you'll know why your current situation happened. Everything has a purpose for new life. Even disappointments can turn into miracles. Trust that the goddess of the dawn, Eostra, will bring light and hope in your heart for good cause. Even if it's different from what you expect, it's always beautiful. Kind of, yes, around the general idea that I was talking about. But we have to sit with what's happening now. We have to actually gain this clarity, gain this new perspective before we can finally break this cycle and stop repeating it for ourselves. It's time to really break it down. No more looking at it in a negative light. Goddess of the dawn. The dawn. A new dawn is coming. New sun. Okay. A little bit heavy there, but there's a lot that comes forward from eclipses, so I'm also not surprised. And trying to speak delicately on the situation that is going on, I do see a lot how this can tie into this situation as well. But again, I'm not putting any personal opinion on it. I feel like this is just a really big message to the collective to really help do their part in making these changes so that we can be better and grow from the past and continue to move forward into something better and more expansive. Okay? All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. I hope that was a good message for you. I hope it found you well. If you really liked it and you felt like it resonated, you can comment, like, share, subscribe. If you'd like to tip or donate, I included links below to how you can share that. I am open to receiving, as I do all of these readings for free, and all of my work is currently donation-based due to pandemic recovery. So if you feel called to, I am very grateful to you as well. And I am back to teaching classes as well. So I have regular class times going up on my class schedule. If you want to check out my website for that, I am teaching yoga and Pilates, so very excited for that. Otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.